Hey.
And the police.
You piss!
Barry, would you like to catch a shot of this?
Nee, wacht nou man, wacht nou, dus eerst nog een dop maak. JP, jy is nou wat kak. Lakse. Bring die koud, kom ons pak op hierin.
What's that take at?
Let's tear gas. You can kom maak jy iets op hier. Nee, ons moet lief vanaf hier binne kan vas toedruk.
Do you enjoy it? It's quite nice, isn't it?
By 94, though, moderates like JP had left the AWB. As the elections approached, which the AWB refused to recognize, only die-hard extremists remained. The leader himself became best known for falling off his horse. The AWB from this point on largely became an underground terrorist organization. They were supplied by supporters in the South African Air Force, Army and Police Force with bomb-making equipment, rifles and ammunition. The AWB, it's estimated, let off over 120 bombs between 92 and 94. The intensity of the bombing increased in the months leading up to the election.
I think there will be more explosions and I think there will be more actions if the government will ignore, according to international law, the just claim of my people to demand some land.
On the day of the South African elections in Johannesburg International Airport, an enormous bomb was let off. 31 members of the AWB were arrested that day. Nelson Mandela's own life was threatened by the AWB, who reportedly hired a hitman to kill him before the election.
Concentrate on the fact that we have made enormous progress in spite of the attempts of criminals and murderers to derail the process.
JP was very close to several of the AWB bombers, who he sees as heroes in the bold struggle for their own homeland. JP works for this ambulance company.
We put our patient on a stretcher here. It's a self-loader, similar to those they use in America. So it's just a matter of pushing the patient into the ambulance, and there you are.
Because what I was saying before was, in a sense, you've spent your whole life looking after people, haven't you, JP?
I have, definitely.
So it's so weird to think that you could have taken part in a bombing campaign.
You know, Nick, South Africa is actually a land of big contrasts. And now I suppose you've now seen the contrast of the whole thing. I was involved. What can I say?
And you could have done it.
I could have done, and I'm not sorry that I was involved. It's an experience that you, unless you live it, you won't be able to tell it to anybody else.
But those were innocent people who were killed in the bomb.
I was innocent as well.
But I mean, I've seen some shots of the bombings, and there were all these sort of innocent people just lying in the street.
Yeah,
people
well,
that you've probably seen when you picked them up in the ambulance.
You know, Nick, the bombings came from both sides. It wasn't just from... And even the previous government were involved in bombings. That only comes to light nowadays. So, at that stage, it was the in thing. It was happening. It's something similar to all-out war. Unfortunately, this one didn't go to war so as we could have a final victor somewhere along the line.
This is the black township of Ching outside Ventersdorp. Here the blacks were confined every night after 9 p.m. when they rang the apartheid bell. It's also the place where the leader planted countless bombs.
They used to plant bombs in each and every house, in the streets, at schools, you know. So, no.
And what else did they do? Did they come in here and beat people?
Yeah, they did. They did. They did.
Can you remember it?
Yeah, I do remember it.
What do you remember? Tell me what you remember.
What I remember is we used to stay in that side, yeah. So at next door, me and my mom's next door, yeah, they did plant a bomb. So it did explode to our house and then next door's house. So we have nothing. We didn't have a shelter to stay or something. No, we used to sleep in the grass, you know.
They blew your house up?
Yeah. I was still at school, at primary, into primary school. I was still there.
And did they beat you too?
No, but the next door's grandpa, an old man, he did beat him.
They came with those horses at night, put in those, what do they call it? They put in those masks. Then they get inside our shacks here, beating old people.
Really?
Yeah, really, this is a true story. It happened, we never slept. They came inside hitting people who come with those, chasing us with those horses. Those horses and all those things. They come day and night, they would be beating us. Understand? We've been beaten by them. And they know what they did, and then they even make those, they put also bombs, these explosions ones. Right in that new extension there, with the bomb. Even someone's leg was cut off because of the bomb, and the hand because of that bomb. You see? That's what happened before. But now currently we are also saying that this is the time for us to sit down and reconcile. We are ready to reconcile. You know what? We are victims and the white people are the culprits. But now what they are doing, they don't want to come to us. We are saying, guys, come on. Yes, you did this to us. That's why the former president, Nelson Mandela, said, it's time for us to forgive and forget.
Nelson Mandela avoided civil war by spreading this gospel of peace and reconciliation to both sides. Other members of the right, such as General Vignon, had an excellent working relationship with Mandela. The AWB remained totally racist. This is the way they treated an American reporter covering the elections.
I'm a reporter, you know. I came here to report a story.
And what happened from the first instance?
I don't have the slightest idea.
Nothing.
Somebody came and said, you know, I should leave.
The election on April the 27th, 94, was the first multiracial vote ever in South Africa. There was a massive turnout, people voting for the very first time, some queuing for days. AWB members harassed people at several voting stations. Foreign journalists covering the elections were beaten up. De Klerk conceded defeat in Pretoria. The ANC had won just under 2/3 of the vote.